Hi, this is Mr. Roche. We are here with Python, and we're working with Trinket. And um, we were trying to do a couple things. We have our stars, and they draw well, and then it looks good. And they go to kind of random places, which is awesome. Um, but we wanted to make them different colors because they were kind of overlapping each other, which happens when they work randomly. That's okay. And we also wanted to have the angle of them change a little bit. So we're working with kind of angles and working with colors. And we're also using like a cosine. I think yours in the yellow section is written a little bit different, but what you do is you need this cosine to determine a star length. And we can figure this out a little bit, but this one's running like we actually like online. We figured out what the cosine of 18 was, and and that gave us some ability to use the bounding box width. In this case, divide it. I think we took 1.5 times the cosine value, something like that, and or the sort of the inverse of the cosine value, and we created star length in our case. So you guys could use this and convert to this, what we're doing here, to find star length. But this is all fine. Okay, but what we wanted to do is do something with this angle a little bit, so that we're not like forced to use the cosine of a single angle. So anyway, but let's do color first. Okay, in class we were working on a color list. Okay, and on that, this is how you create a list in Python. You make two of those square brackets. So a list looks like this. This like starts a list. Okay, and you could also like append to list. You can put like one color on a list like this. You could say color list. We could say like red. Okay, so then the color list has like one color, right? And then when we use the color, let me see. I guess what we would do is right before we begin fill, we pick a color. So we go like T color, and then you get things off the color list like this. You say color. I think let's call it C list because it's too much to type. And we'll say down here you would say like in this section. This is in Drawstar. You could do this. You could say color, and then you go C list of the slot that you want. And the only slot we have is the first slot, and that's 0. So if I do this, what will happen is all the stars will become red. Okay, so it'll work for anything. And so what we did is we came up with like kind of a really big list of colors. Okay, so another way to do this too is you can use the pens. You can use the pens like all day, or you can put the word right in there, like when you make the list. So we did it that way in class, and our thing looked like this. Okay, and I'll continue to do that. Just remember that pen's still here. Okay, so if I do this, see how this is like this, and if I say like green, it'll make green stars. What do they look like? Okay, things like that. Okay, and what we were doing is we were building like a really big list of colors. So what we did is we had some colors. Let me go get those colors. Okay, so just hang here for a sec. This is my C list from the end of class. I had a bunch of colors. Okay, I'm going to change it to C list. I'm going to erase that because I don't need that now. Apparently Python will let you do this. This is okay. Okay, I found this, like looking this up. Well, not really comments, but I want to do command. Yeah, I think this is working. This is what people did in Python. They used the, I guess this is the /. So let's try that, okay? like that. Okay, so if I put like a break here like that, it'll pick up. And so like I don't want this really long whoopee. Whoopee. Okay, what I want to do is I want to have my colors be on like multiple lines. So I think if I do this, this is okay. Let me run these. Okay, it's fine. It's happy with me. Okay. So what I did was this is just to break up like a bunch of colors. So after some of the colors, I can go like this. And that's one way to kind of like keep all your list of colors together. Okay. And I could add other things like red. And that's okay, as long as I put them in quotes. Okay. Okay. I think like pink will work. Stuff like that. Okay. But right now, it's not picking anything from the color list, right? So what we want to do is we want to pick a random number here. And this is where we got in trouble before. So what we said was here, we picked a color, and we said CList. Okay, CList to refer to our list of colors. And then we have to pick a slot. And I'll explain this in a second. And what we were going to do is we're going to use a random number. So we said rand int between 0, which is like the first slot in there. And then we said, because I have like a different number of colors than you do. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 colors. And you guys might have something different, but we can all use the same command. We can say len of CList, okay, which gives us like the length of it, okay, for how many colors are in there, okay. Now, and then we notice that this like kind of works, but it also gives you an error. So see how it's starting to work? It's working until it runs out of space. Now I got an error. And this is what happened at the end of the class. So it says index out of range. Okay, we have to fix that, and I know what the problem is. Let me show you something here. Okay, so the way we talked about it in class was that an array is like a parking lot. Okay, so you can define a parking lot like the way we did, and like put in numbers, okay, or cars, or whatever you want, or you can use like this a command called append. You can stick them in there as you go. Okay. Now notice what happens is when you do something like this, you make a parking lot basically that can hold 5 things of data or 5 cars. Okay. So what happens is when the cars come in, so let's say I put in cars 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There are 5 cars, but what happens is the first car goes in parking slot 0. So that's great. And then the second one goes in parking slot 1. And the third slot goes in parking slot 2, and the fourth slot goes in parking slot 3, and this one goes in parking slot 4. So though there are like 5 cars, the highest numbered slot is slot 4. Okay, or to say this like this, these numbers are called indices. Okay, so the index number of this is 0. Index number of this slot is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or you can say, like in this case, parking lot slot number 4. Okay, and that should be able to access the red car. Okay, so what happens is if you say parking slot 4, you're going to get back this. Okay, if you say parking lot 0, you're going to get back the first car. Okay, if you say parking slot 1, it gives you back whatever's in here, like that Mercedes. And what happens here is if you say, like this is what happened to us. If we say parking lot of the length of P lot, that number is a 5. Okay, so this is a 5, and there's no slot 5. Okay, so it'll give you an error. Okay, so to fix this, what we would do is we'd say something like this. We'd say t color of t list minus this. You just say -1 here, and that will that'll solve that problem of the extra 0 being there. And so if we do this, then we should get a whole bunch of colors. Okay. Now the person with the most colors is the most awesome. Okay, and that's what we want to have happen for tomorrow. Okay, or for Tuesday, or, for your next class. Okay, so notice that this overlaps, but at least you can see the stars now and stuff like that. So that's kind of a good thing. If you want to try to keep the stars separate, that would be awesome. But what I want to do is I want to talk about the cosine value and how we can convert degrees to radians, and that would be a useful thing too. You could also make this a def, okay, which might be a good thing to do too. We could go like this. We could say def set star color, okay, and all we have to do is tuck this command in here, and this would give us a level of abstraction which we love, because then in our function here we don't have to get into the details of this, but we can go just set star color like that, okay, and this gives us abstraction. Okay, and let's run this again. It looks good. So you're getting different colored stars and things like that. And then the next thing we want to do is we're going to try to make a definition for, I'm going to try to put this on you to see if you can do it. I want to make a def for that will convert this angle degree, okay? And you guys are going to probably have to change your code so it looks like this. So when you have the star angle come in here, right, we're going to use this cosine value, and we're going to do calculation here like this to do starlight, okay? And we can use this, and what's good about this is that it'll let you kind of play with the shapes of the stars a little bit, and that's sort of a good thing. It also helps you understand what radian is, okay? And when the computer's looking for angles, it can only deal with this thing called radians, and we're going to have to kind of deal with that, okay? So look for the next video. Thanks.